everybody, and welcome to DNS Live. It's Wednesday night. We have another fun guest tonight, so we're going to have some fun on the show. We're actually going to do call-in tonight for the first time, so you guys will get to experience that. But let's get to a couple announcements at the top of the hour like we normally do. We did finally release the location for our fundraiser, our Kids fundraiser, the charity dinner and ghost hunt coming up in September. We are going to be in Burleson at a restaurant called The Porch. There's been some reported activity there. It's never been officially and formally investigated, so we'll be the first ones going in there to do that on Friday night and Saturday night. So you guys get your tickets. The link is up on the DNS page for the Eventbrite, or you can go on Eventbrite and look for DFW Dinner and Ghost Hunt. It's $65 if you want to do one night. If you want to come out both nights, it's $110. We're also adding a ghost walk before the dinner. It will be a buffet-style dinner. So we're adding a ghost walk to that night. We're also going to have a lotto and auction going on that night. Jeremy with Paranologies is going to be out there. He's starting to kind of, those of us that are focus groups for Paranologies have seen some of the new equipment's coming out, and it's pretty badass. So we're still trying to twist his arm to bring some out and show it to us, but he will be doing a demonstration for us, so you guys can check that out as well. I've got in the mail finally a couple of books autographed by some authors for our lotto. We've got Michael Graves coming out, and he's actually personally going to bring his books, so we'll get to see him and talk to him a little bit. And I'm working on a couple other little surprises for you guys, too, that we'll have. So we're going to have a lot of fun with this. You guys come out. It's for a great cause for kids, and we'd love to see you out there. We've got a limited amount of space, so get your tickets now. I also want to remind you guys to hook up with Texas Ghostly Gatherings on Meetup. They are actually at Pennhurst this week. They're actually going to be investigating there tomorrow night, so I can't wait to hear Annette's feedback on that location. And then tonight, as I mentioned, we are going to be doing some readings with Stacey. Normally, we do them in the chat room, so you guys in the chat room, if you guys have questions, you can still ask them there. But if you want to actually talk to Stacey because you have a question that may be a little more detailed, you can call in, and the number is going to be at the bottom of the screen. But if you want to jot it down, it's going to be 615-692-1262 for you guys to call in. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Stacey. Stacey, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
We're good. I'm glad to have you back on the show. It wasn't too long ago we were having some fun on here, huh?
Oh, my gosh. Not too long ago at all.
You know, I think we spent that night talking more about background and how to meditate and how to ground yourself. And, it's funny because you and I talked that night, and I told you I wasn't so confident in my abilities, and then I've been working on it. And then we did my reading a couple of nights ago, and you confirmed some stuff that I kind of had a sense for. So it was kind of good to know that I've been working on mine, and it's kind of coming forward, and it's good to work with you on it to kind of get that balance and get that bounce off as well.
Absolutely. I was glad to hear that you're actually tuning into and got the same things that I got. That was really cool.
It's almost scary.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It is very, very scary. Well, you guys in the chat room, I see, Selena's in the chat room. Selena was in the chat room with us last time, too, and she's already starting it off with, what does my future hold? Selena, you're going to have to be a little more specific. I think we're going to have a lot of this tonight. But you guys, if y'all have questions, fire them out there. I know Stacey had put out for some of her past clients, if you guys have had a reading, call in and let us know how that went, too. And I'm going to tell you guys, we did our reading the other night between Stacey and I, and it just never ceases to amaze me how right on she is about things. Things that I hadn't even told her yet that I was getting ready to tell her, she was already picking up on it and going after. And I think that's awesome. And for me to get some validation on some stuff that I didn't even tell you about I had sensed until after you picked it up, that was just, for me, unbelievable. I think it's totally opened up my confidence a little bit more.
Awesome. Well, that's what the point is. My abilities are getting so different and so much stronger. Since even the last time we spoke. So, not the other night, but the last show we did.
Yeah. And you've got a lot going on, too, but we can't talk about a lot of that.
Oh, it's been cray-cray. My son hates when I say that. He's like, Mom, you're 42. You can't say cray-cray. So I say it just to irritate.
We can say cray-cray. There's no problem with that.
Oh, I sure can.
So, Selena's being funny now. She's saying that she's got her love life covered. She wants to know about her career. She's happily married and in love, but her career not so sure now. All right, Selena, I see where you're going. Are we talking about the para career, or are we talking about the other career? I'm waiting.
I think she's talking about her para career.
I think she is, too, but she's not. Come on, talk faster, Selena. Her para career. There we go.
See? We were all zoomed in. I think she's really going to expand on what she's already doing. I think that I feel like she's moving in the right direction, but I feel like her name is not out there as much as she would like it to be, and I think that's going to really change for her. I think what I feel is like she's letting some emotional and personal issues hold her back from fully experiencing what God has to offer her in the future with her para career. And when she puts those issues to rest or finally comes to resolve with them, everything else will fall into place.
Well, and it's funny you say that because she and I had a conversation the other day. I was kind of picking up on the same thing. And I even told her, I said, you know what, she is going to go far. Once, Selena, I think you're kind of, I think you are your holdback right now. I think you need to just kind of take a deep breath and go.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she does.
And she's saying now, wow, now that's cray-cray.
Oh, I've started a new trend. could just get Mid-Ohio Medium shirts on everybody. We would be rocking out.
Heck yeah, we got to start pushing that more. All right, Green Eyes, has a question. They say, hello to Stacey. I'm debating whether or not to retire. Any thoughts about that? Would it be good to do so now, or should I wait longer? Thank you.
Just two questions to kind of help me with my empathic feeling on it. What do they do now, and how old are they now?
All right, Green Eyes, what are you doing now, and how old are you? Let's give Stacey a little more information on you. Selena's an easy one because we know Parrot Bud.
Yeah. I kind of have a feeling of what it is, but
we'll just see what we get here. Early 60s, and they write procedures.
I don't feel like they are going to retire just yet. I feel like they're second guessing retiring, so they're going to hold out a little bit longer. I feel like it's kind of it's a multifold issue. They're kind of leery about the loss of that money, that steady income, but they're also kind of worried about that loss of a daily routine. So I think they're going to hold out a little bit longer. I would say probably 2 or 3 more years before they retire.
Kind of keep them busy a little bit then.
Yeah. I think the empathic feeling I'm getting from them is that they're one of those people like you and I that they have to be busy all the time. And I think that would be really...
Yep.
I think that would be really a downturn for them. So, can you imagine either one of us retiring right now? We'd be cray-cray.
No. That would be totally cray-cray, man. Totally cray-cray. I could see retiring from my full-time job and doing more with my para job. I mean, we had that conversation. But, yeah, I'd have to have something to do, or I would go just crazy nuts. I'd go nuts. Green Eyes, I hope that helps. Yep, thank you very much, Stacey. I appreciate it. You're right. I need routine. I need to be busy. See, you're just like us. We have to be buddies.
Yep, that's what I thought.
All right, so Melissa's in the room. Melissa, my friend Melissa, she's so awesome. And she's actually coming up for our event in September, too. I can't wait. Melissa has a question. She says, are we ever going to own the property that we're living on?
How long have they lived there?
Melissa, how long have you been there? The power of the internet. Around 10 years, she tells me.
Okay. My gut feeling and my empathic feeling tells me no. I kept hearing 5 years, so I don't know if that's projection into the future that something's going to happen in 5 years, or if it was within the last 5 years that something has changed with them. But my guide kept saying 5 years, and my gut, I just have that feeling in my gut, my empathic feeling that they are not, that they're going to kind of cut and run or change directions with what they're doing with their life. I kind of feel like this is not where she wants to live. That they would rather live somewhere else, not necessarily on this land, but in a different location maybe. Like their heart's not into this. I mean, it's more of a convenience, easier path for them, seemingly. But I don't really feel like at this point that's in the cards for them. I mean, that could change tomorrow based on the slightest decision. But at this point, what I'm seeing is no.
Gotcha. Melissa, does that help? Kind of give me a message here. Oh, she said that you cut out. Melissa, she said that she thinks she sees in the next 5 years. She kept getting the message of 5 years there, that something would take place that you kind of don't feel like that's really where you want to be. You kind of in the area we think, Stacey, but not right there.
Right. Correct.
And ladies, you do have a caller.
I see that. Caller, who's on the phone with us?
Hello, I'm Dave from Michigan.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Thanks for calling in.
She's pretty good.
What do you have? What's your question for Stacey?
The question for Stacey is, we currently own 2 houses, and they're kind of like too much for us to afford at the same time, and we're thinking about selling one, or maybe selling both, moving south. We're kind of like being pulled in a whole bunch of different directions. I wondered if you could give me some guidance.
Dave, are you Anna's husband?
Yes, I am.
I thought so. I was going to give a shout out to Anna, tell her hello this evening. She and I talked a little bit about this today.
Okay.
I do feel like you're going to sell both of those houses because I feel like you both are in a place it's just time. I feel like it's not where you need to be. I do see a ranch-style house in your future. I know for Anna, she does have some concerns of moving away from where you know everybody.
Yep.
But I really feel like that's what you need to do. I think you guys really need a fresh start. And what I told her today is I really feel like you need to buy that happiness. And what I mean in that is when you sell those 2 homes, you'll have the money to buy the happiness that you want, to buy the house you want, to live where you want, and that give yourselves that peace and that peace of mind. I really see that coming to fruition for you over the next, I'd say, year or so. I feel like the house you're not living in is going to sell first, and then the other house. And the new house, I feel like it's going to be totally accessible to Anna. It's going to be something that she's comfortable with.
Right.
But I do see that move coming into fruition. I think, and I told her as well about the business, it's going to become less tedious for her and for you because you're going to be living in a location where you're happier, just in a happier place emotionally. And so you're not going to have to worry about the trips to town to the post office, and it's just going to be a whole overall happier scenario for you guys. But I do definitely see that coming into fruition for you.
Well, that would be nice.
That will be nice for you guys, but I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm concerned, especially for Ann, because so much of what I take for granted is not a problem for me. Is like a major obstacle for her.
Right.
And I want when we do this thing for it, to be good for her.
Right.
Because
you want to do what's best for her, and she wants the same thing for you.
Yeah. No, I'm happy if she's happy, because if she's not happy, forget it.
Yeah. Well, if Mama's not happy, ain't nobody happy.
That's it. You got that right.
That's right. And I think your guys are going to move in the right direction. I think it's your guys' time to find your happiness. Quit living your lives for I have to's and I needs. It's time. You're at that stage in your life. It's time to live for you and what you guys want. And she feels kind of the same way you do. If you're happy, she's happy.
Well,
so
that's good. That's worked out rather well.
Yeah, exactly. She has the same kind of concerns for you as you do for her. So I think it's going to be all right.
Okay.
Well, and Dave, the chat room's wishing you well with the sale of the house and all of that. So you got some support pulling for you in the chat room here tonight.
Right. Okay. All right. Thanks very much.
Thanks,
You're
Dave.
welcome.
All right. So Stacey, Freak's in the room, and she's got a question for you. Okay. It's always our usual girls here. She wants to know, and I'm going to read it verbatim. I'm going to go back and find it again. Okay. Her question is life touch and photography her career path that you envisioned earlier?
Can you repeat that again? I'm sorry.
She wanted to know, is life touch and photography the career path you envisioned for her earlier?
I feel like she's bouncing around to a couple different arenas right now until she finds that path. But I think the beauty and And the best part about this is she's finding herself in the process.
I agree.
She's, you know, and I think I mentioned this on your show before, I really strongly believe that life is a series of stepping stones that we have to go through to get to where God wants us to land. Yep. And you can't skip those. And it may seem to her and to maybe some others that she's kind of circling the drain right now, and she's really not, or she's going in circles. She's not. She's following that life path. She's following her stepping stones to where she needs to be. And right now, she's really finding herself and finding where she wants to be mentally and physically. And before too much longer, she's going to find that path. There's a lot of things up in the air in her life right now, with her para career, with her personal career, with her personal life, friends, what have you. Mm-hmm. And she's doing a lot of juggling. I think it's really good for her, some of the things I see her doing. And it's going to deliver her to a whole new space, I would say, in the next 6 months to a year. She's really moving forward to where she's supposed to be.
Well, you know, it's funny. We call ourselves the triple threat between me, Bud, and Freak.
Right.
And it's funny because all of us have come to you and had a question for you about our para career. Mm-hmm. Career. I call it a hobby because we'll never get paid for it, but you can kind of tell where we're focused at and kind of hoping to help some other people along the way. Mm-hmm. We had a message last night from an owner of a local location that's wanting a little bit of assistance. She's kind of playing around with some ideas, and she reached out to us. So I think we're going to have some fun with that. I think you're going to see a lot of us really start to pull together. And I think that's going to help really the three of us and those people that are around us as well.
Right. You're all evolving into a whole new space right now. And I really feel like the universe is shifting for everybody right now, but I really see it with you guys. I mean, I see it and feel it for myself. Things are changing so much from, you know, just like the conversation we had this morning about the phone call I got. You know, that's totally, we're all evolving into a whole new spot. Well, it's just preparing ourselves to get there.
Yeah, I think it's time. I think, you know, you and I had the conversation about my reading, and I think there's just a lot of craziness right now that's got to be dealt with before we can focus on what we need to focus on. And I really think that's what it is. I mean, I got a lot of clarity after our conversation the other night, and, you know, I bounced a lot off of you anyway, but I think it's really helped me kind of pull myself back together and focus where I need to be focused and get back to that positivity that I always seem to have about me.
Right. And I agree with you. I think for all of us, we need to do that.
Yeah.
And we all need that person that can pull us back.
Yeah. It's okay to go crazy sometimes. Just make sure you get that positivity back.
That's right. And lots of vodka.
Lots of vodka. Cake vodka. God, go get some. All right. Well, Parrot Bud had one more question. She said they've been in their house for 10 years and they want to move soon. What do you see for them as far as a residence, a move, and a sell of a home?
Where are they living at now?
Right now, they're here
what city?
In a house in Rockwall, right, Selena?
They've been there for 10 years and they're wanting to move.
Yeah, Rockwall.
Okay. I usually see 5 to 8 years in the future, and I don't see that within that time frame. I know for certain I don't see it within the next 5 years. So I'm asking my guides if there's anything beyond the 5-year point that I normally see. And what they're telling me is it's up in the air between the 5 and 8 year mark, but up to the 5-year point, it's highly unlikely.
Gotcha. Selena, did you get that? And then the next question I have is from Yeti. Yeti wants to know what you see for the future of Penn.
The future of what?
The future of Penn. Our
group.
Our network, yeah.
I feel like you guys are moving in the right direction, not just paranormally. I feel like you're outreaching in different areas to the community, and that's really going to grow you as people personally on each level. I see in the next 5 years, I see a major evolving with the group. Some moving out, some moving in. Some moving on to bigger and better things. It's just the turnover in the paranormal kind of world. People kind of get burnt out on ghost hunting and things like that. So, you always have that in and out, in and out. I think the core members of the group are going to start moving into bigger things over the next 5 years. That's what I really feel. I feel like the group is going to stay around in existence for a time. I don't see it, again, the 5 to 8 year time frame, I don't see it going away. I see it evolving and continuing in that up to that time frame.
Which that's good. That's good stuff.
Yeah, it is good stuff. I don't see anything negative.
That's good. Yeti, we're going to keep you busy, man.
Yeah.
Already do.
Hey,
I think you're going to stay involved, too, with, like, the charity work and different things besides just the straight paranormal stuff, which I think that's really what's going to grow you guys.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, Eric, do you have another caller?
Yes, we do.
Who's on the phone with us?
Hi, this is Nancy.
Hey, Nancy, thanks for calling in.
Hi, Nancy.
Hey, thanks for taking the call. So I was just wondering, my husband and I have a business in Michigan, auto repair business, and we both really like an area in North Carolina and have thought about just kind of selling everything and picking up and moving cross country with the kids. Do you think this is something that would be a good move for us, or a time frame that maybe it would be a good move?
I think for you, it's going to be a good move if you pick the right time frame. My question is for you is at this point in time, I feel like, is it very successful right now? You're doing really well with the business right now.
Yeah, right now. Finally.
That's what I felt. I felt like the business was finally becoming very successful and doing very well for you guys. So with it being at that stage, I don't feel like now is the time for you to do that. I feel like you need to ride the tidal wave while you can, while it looks good,
okay,
and start banking some money for that move. I would say, I feel like a lot of, and I'm not sure what the correlation is here, but a lot of the success that's going on with the business right now is because of the economy. I don't know if it's because people aren't buying cars and are choosing to repair cars instead of buying new, but I feel like in the next 2 to 5 years is when you're going to take that money and run. And I think that's when things are going to start cooling off a little bit. But while you're on this high tide of the business doing well, stick it out. Because that's the money you could pocket. So now, if I feel like you cut and run now, it's going to hurt you in the long run.
Okay, now I guess my only concern about that is, our boys are getting older, they're in school, and uprooting them cross country again, which we've done to them in the past. It seems kind of...
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Now, how old are the boys?
My oldest is 9 and my youngest is 4.
Okay. Yeah, because I felt they were in that age frame right there where you still have time. And I feel like it's going to be okay if you wait 2 to 5 years to move. Because if you think about it, and, as a mom of 5 kids, this has crossed my mind several times because I've uprooted my kids several times and moved all over hell's half acre. If you move, for example, in 5 years, your older son will be getting ready to graduate high school, getting up into that stage where he's going to be picking a college, so maybe he'll choose to stay near you. That's what I think.
Yeah.
You can, like my daughter wanted to move to go to school in Florida a few years ago, and I seriously thought about moving to Florida so we could be near her while she was in college, so she wouldn't be so far from home. That's kind of the thought process I'm getting and feeling I'm getting about this.
Well, it's really funny to say that because part of the reason I like that area is because there's a college in that town.
Yeah.
And
that's
feel
kind
like
of what I feel.
Classes maybe potentially for me, classes for my kids down the line,
Yep.
Okay, so
As a parent,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what crosses our mind, and that's the empathic feeling I got about it, that I kept hearing college, and I kept feeling like it was almost like you were moving to him, you know, at this later point. You know, moving to be with him, like I mentioned. So, yeah, I think you need to wait a few more years, write it out, and then your time's going to come for that.
okay, great, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Awesome. Thanks for
Great.
calling in.
Thanks. Bye.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Stacey.
Yes.
Melissa had another question for you. You know, Melissa's been working on her gift kind of like I have. I think
Right.
she's a little bit further along than I am. She's given me some pretty good readings and kind of helped me find who my guides were.
Right.
So she had a question. She's always, I love Melissa to death, but she's kind of in the same boat I am, where we kind of question our confidence. Like, we know it's there, but we're not real sure how to put it out there. So her
Right.
question was, do you see her evolving with her gift and getting a little bit stronger, a little more confident with it?
Oh, absolutely. That everybody that has a gift that wants to do something with it and utilize it for good will always get stronger with it, because the first key in growing it is to accept it, to acknowledge it, and to take it as it comes. She's doing that. So it's going to continue to get stronger for her. And she probably realizes this, and I know I've told you this. We all second guess ourselves when we get something.
Yep.
It's natural, especially in the beginning, when you're finally accepting it and acknowledging it. I've been doing this, well, I've had the gift my whole life, like I told you before, but I've been doing this actively since 2010. And just in the last couple months, like I just said at the top of the show, am I accepting it as it's coming?
So
When
it's
I
good-
do the reading, like with you the other night, and when I spoke with Anna this morning, I just rattled off everything that came as it came.
Well,
And I
sometimes
just had to trust in myself enough that what I was giving was fact and was correct. And others around us need to accept the fact that we are human, and nobody is ever going to be 100% correct 100% of the time.
Right.
Because in this business, or in this field, it's all about interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
Because when your spirit guide speaks to you, they only give you one or two words at a time, and it's up to you to make the sentence.
Right.
And so they give it to you in facial expression. They give it to you in tone of voice. They give it to you in all different shapes and forms. So it's up to you to interpret the meaning of all of that and put it into that sentence.
Well, and sometimes your guides give you colors. I know Crystal and I have talked about
Absolutely.
that. We bounced off of each other, and we've seen colors. And then you kind of have to look at the situation that you're in, the place that you're investigating, the family that you're helping. You have to take
Exactly.
everything into consideration. And, you know, just because you saw the color black doesn't mean it's death. It could be that, you know, it's just dark right now. You just can't see, or you just can't find it. You know, and a lot of that takes, it's practice. I mean, it's not something that's perfect the first time.
Right, and you also got to understand that you're the creator of your own destiny in this field. You are the one that sets, like a parent, you set the rules with your guides and the spirits around you the way you want them to give you information. So for me, the color blue may mean one thing, because I've told my guide, when you show me the color blue, this is what it means. But for Susie down the street, who's a psychic, blue may mean totally something different to her.
Yep.
Because she has set it up differently. These are the kind of the parameters that you have to go through in developing your ability, so you can come to that understanding with your spirit guide, with yourself, and learn to trust yourself more. But I definitely see that her abilities are going to continue to grow, and she's going to learn to trust herself and what she's getting.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I can't wait to watch her grow. I know we've talked about, she's kind of down in the South Texas area. And we've talked about Dee and I going down and doing some stuff in Central Texas, and her coming up to meet with us. And I keep telling her, I'm like, man, I need a medium with me when I'm down there, when I can't take Crystal. So she's really wanting to get out there, and I'm really wanting to help her and challenge her and really help her grow. So that's going to be something interesting for us, you know, as DNS to get out there.
Right. And I've got some exciting news for you that, I mean, it's in the works, but not anything set in stone yet. I am planning on making a trip to Texas to do some investigating with a couple of my friends down there. Of course, my brother lives in Dallas. Rock out, Aaron. and I'm going to come see him, but I was planning on coming seeing you and coming seeing Kim and a couple other people and going on some investigations with you guys. And
heck yeah, man, that'll be fun. We'll have to take you to some fun places and get your input on some stuff.
oh yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So Texas is a hotbed, and so it's going to be good. So I figured get down there and break it down and see what we got.
That's going to be awesome. Yeah, you need to message me and tell me when you're coming, because now I'm all excited. That's going to be
we'll have
awesome.
to find a time for me to get down there. And I know Kim, she just had that baby, and I've got to get down there and hold that baby before it gets too big.
And she just got online. She's in the chat room. Took her a little bit, but we got her here.
Yeah, she probably had to put the baby in her room. She's probably crying in the hallway.
Aw. Kimmy, we're glad you could join us. That's awesome. Hey, I had a question. I've got L2TX, that's an awesome name, wanting to know how you would interpret the color green. We were talking about the colors black and blue. How would you interpret green?
I don't do a lot of interpreting with colors. I know, like, the different stones, different colors mean things. I haven't studied a lot with that. Hello?
We've got a caller calling in. Hang on just a moment. We're just finishing up.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
So I haven't done a lot with the colors, but like I said previously, for me, they mean different things. To me, when I speak with my spirit guide, when they show me green, for me, the way I set it up, it means prosperity and good things.
Right.
I have been told, for example, and this was told to me by a psychic child of like 6 years old, that the color purple means that somebody was going to die soon.
Oh, wow.
And I've had other people say the color purple means other things, but to this psychic child, that's what it meant. And this person was ill. So I can't fault them and say they were wrong. But to me, that's what green means to me. It means prosperity.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thanks for asking that. We have a caller on the line. Caller, sorry about that. They probably didn't tell you to hang on a minute. Who's on the line? Who's the caller on the line with us?
I don't know. They hung up.
They hung up. Okay, they'll call back. All right. We're running a different show tonight, Stacey. It's weird not being the one in charge tonight. Okay. Green Eyes had a good question. This is kind of something that I was wondering too, so I'm glad that you asked this question. The question is, how did you recognize your spirit guides? And the chat room moved, so hang on, let me go back and get the rest of it. I've lost it now. But it was talking about how did you recognize your spirit guides? How did you know who they were? Oh, here we go. Did you actually see them, or was it just the feeling that you get? They're kind of wanting some explanation. How do you know?
For me, it was a feeling. My grandmother, I believe that over our lives that we can gain spirit guides, or quote-unquote spirit guides. When my grandmother passed, she was my psychic link in my family. She was the one that always talked to me about ghosts and spirits and things that my mom always told me I was crazy. So when she passed, it was really hard for me. Like it would be for anybody, I suppose. But when I got remarried and I moved here to Zanesville, she came very close to me. And I think partially it was because she had passed away right after my divorce, and I had moved home at that time. And when I moved away from home, it was the first time I had been away from home since her death. And she was always kind of with me. And when I moved here, and she came with me, that's when I really felt her very strongly. It was like she wanted to make sure that I knew she was with me. And that was '07. And then in '10 is when I started working in this field. And that's when I started recognizing more of a feeling of my spirit guide. I had to get in touch with my spirit guide to lead me where it needed to be. I mean, my grandmother tried as much as she could, and she still does. But it's different with somebody as a spirit guide that had lived and walked the earth than a God-given spirit guide, if that makes sense.
Yep, it does.
And I feel my spirit guide. I feel that my spirit guide is a male. And it's kind of like when I pray, I just kind of talk to him, and I wait for the answer. because I know that they're there. I don't believe that I've ever really seen them except for maybe a picture they've given me in my mind's eye.
Mm-hmm.
But physically to see them, no.
See, and that makes sense, because I know, like, when I was talking to Melissa, she could see my guides and describe them to me, but I hear them. Does it make any sense? I sense them and I hear them, but I don't ever see them. Like, I can be somewhere and all of a sudden just kind of hear something in my ear and know they're there. I don't really see them. So is that kind of like the sense that you get as well?
That's exactly how I get it. And all of our abilities are different. Every psychic is different. What our gifts are and how we use them is completely different. My daughter is completely different than I am. So the fact that Melissa can see them, to me, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I have a client that is always asking me, who's my spirit guide and what do they look like?
Well,
I can't see it, so I can't tell you, but I can tell you what they're telling me, the picture they're giving me in my mind's eye.
Yeah, and that's and it's completely different, because at that point it's almost like you're asking your guide to envision something for you so you can see where that's not normally a natural for you.
Right, exactly.
Okay, let's see. Yep, that makes a lot of sense, Stacey. Thank you for the explanation. I believe I'm surrounded. It's just recently that I have come to recognize it. So that did help pretty nice. So that's awesome. Let's see. There was a couple other questions. You know, there was a comment in the chat room, and I haven't seen Maggie respond to it. Maggie had made a comment that her husband had been in a bad car accident, and I was asking to see if she had a question around that. I'm not sure if that was recent.
It was this morning.
Okay. So, do you sense anything there? I mean, do we need to add her to our prayer list?
From what she told me this morning, he's fine, but I think we should at least keep him in prayer that, he heals well and that there's nothing that the doctors have missed, because it was a pretty bad accident. Maggie is a part of my Psychics and Empaths group that I have on Facebook. I had met her through another Psychics and Empaths group, and we ended up starting a whole new separate group. And it's a tight little group of psychics, empaths, mediums, and sensitives where we can come together and talk and grow and learn from each other.
That's awesome.
And talk about our investigations or our clients, or not by name by no means, but, hey, I had this client, this is what happened, what do you think of this? Or I was at this investigation. And, of course, we talk about other things, too. But
well, it sounds kind of like what we do. It's kind of, you kind of bounce things off of each other to get some more input and advice.
Right, exactly. It's kind of like a professional group, so to speak. It's a private group, so there's only 30 of us in there, and it's so that way we can talk freely and openly about not just what's going on presently, but our past, and how we came to this place we're at as a psychic. And it's really a cool group, and that's how I met her, and I did see her post this morning. It's really interesting because there's so many of us in there that we feel like we've known each other forever, which you have that in life. Right. But there's one girl in particular from Michigan, her name's Amy. She's an indigo child. I believe I am an indigo child. And she and I are very closely linked, and from another time. And this is a whole other realm that, you get into this paranormal world. There's so many different levels to it. And This is all new to me, this portion of it. But today, she had kind of a negative meltdown. She had some stress in her life. And immediately and I didn't even know what was going on. I just got that migraine that I could not shake. And it was so bad I got sick to my stomach. Oh, wow. And she posted about it in the group. I'm very sorry if anybody picked up my negative emotion, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, holy hell, that's where it came from.
But, and I think it's kind of cool that you're connected that way to kind of help, because, sometimes some people will be there and they won't really ask for the help, or they don't want to be a burden to other people, or they don't want to be the center of attention. So for you to say that and her to make that connection, I mean, she knew that you were thinking about her without you even realizing it. You know what I mean?
Correct. And it happens with us all the time. She has called me and said, okay, I just had this vision of this house, and this is what was going on, and described my house to the letter.
Wow.
Now, we've never met in person. I've only known her for probably 3 months through these groups. And it's just the weirdest things that happen. Especially with she and I, it's just so cray-cray. I don't know how else to describe it.
Right. But, it just goes to show you how, a lot of people don't believe that people have the gift, and it just goes to show you that how could you know or sense that about somebody that you've never met and you've never seen. So, I mean, it just goes to show you. Explain that to me, and that is part of that paranormal, realm that, again, we haven't even explored 100% of our brain, barely even half, if even a quarter of it. We don't know what God has.
We only use it 1/2 at a time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, even that.
Unless we're women, and then we use it all.
We use it all. Everything's plugged in at that point.
Well, gosh.
It's really interesting. So L2TX had a question. As an empath, is it possible to develop and my chat room keeps moving. You guys, hang on. Is it possible to be a clairaudient or clairvoyant? As an empath, is it possible to develop and be clairaudient or clairvoyant?
Yes.
Absolutely. I'm clairaudient and I'm clairvoyant. I'm a psychic. I'm a medium, and I'm an empath. You don't have to be just one thing. You can be many different things.
Being a mixture like that helps you with your spirit guides as well, and I think it's all with what your spirit guides tell you.
Well, yes, that, and it goes back to what I said earlier about being open to it and accepting it.
Exactly.
For me, my first ability was being an empath. That is my strongest ability because it's been with me the longest.
Huh.
And it's developed into other things over time just by the sheer fact that I've accepted that I was an empath. When I was 8, I didn't know that word.
Right. So you didn't know what it really was at that point.
I didn't know what it was, but I knew I had it. And I was told 1,000,000 times I was crazy. And I knew I wasn't crazy. Well, maybe a little bit. But
cray.
Yeah, but I knew what I was feeling,
Wow.
And there's no, and I don't know if I mentioned this on the show previously or not. When you're a 4, 5, and 6-year-old child, and empathically, you feel like one of your parents is not your parent and you were adopted, and you have zero knowledge of that being factual, but you feel it almost like it's in your bones from the age of 4, and then you find out at 40 years old you were right.
Wow.
Nobody is going to convince me in 1,000,000 years that it's not empathic ability.
No, because it is. I mean, it's something, it's you being more in tune with your surroundings than what other people might be. And, I think we all have it. I think it's just a matter of how many of us really pay attention to it.
Exactly.
And I mean, it's kind of like, I tell people, I've had deja vu, and people are like, it's just a dream, that you've had over and over. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
I mean, the more I've gotten into the paranormal, the more I'm realizing it's really not. I mean, it is a gift that's coming through, and now that I've gotten on to, growing more of my gift, I'm starting to realize, I don't have dreams as much as I used to anymore. I do still have some deja vu, and now I have to really pay attention to it. Crystal and I bounce dreams off each other because it's like, okay, what's my spirit guide trying to tell me now?
Right, because the thing is they come to you in your dream because you're not listening when you're awake.
Right.
So they got to get the message across to you. Like I said this to my former pastor the other day. He used to say in church that if you can't sleep at night, it's because God was trying to tell you something all day and you weren't listening.
Exactly.
So he's going to have a talk with you when you can't run from him.
Well, and that's more open.
And your spirit guides are the opposite.
Yep.
Yep.
That's exactly.
If you ain't listening, they're going to come to you in your dream, and when you're aware, they don't need to come to you in your dream.
Right.
To me, when you deja vu, or as a sensitive, quote-unquote, dream, you're astral projecting.
Yeah.
That's, to me, what it is. That's why it feels familiar to you.
Yeah, and it's weird when it does happen to you, because then you're like, well, I mean, I personally, I feel like I'm in the Matrix, and all of a sudden everything slows down. You know how they do that special effect in the Matrix? I feel like it slows down, and what happens in 30 seconds takes like an hour, because it's like, oh my gosh, why does this look familiar? Oh my God. And then you're like, wait a minute, this is going to happen, and then this, and they're going to say this, and you're just like, oh,
right.
Wow.
But you know what's so ironic about this fact that you said everything slows down, like an hour is like 30, seconds or whatever it is? It's like, that's the way it is in the spirit world.
See, that's just...
Everything, to us, it's been a week since somebody died, but to them it's been 6 years.
Yeah. I mean, it's completely different.
Time is completely different.
Well, and
we're on a totally different plane.
Yes, we have more of a measurement, I guess you could say, of it here, sun up, sun down, moon up, moon down type thing, where
right.
On the other side, they don't really, some of them don't even know that they've passed, and some of them do, and it's kind of a mixture of stuff, and you'll see, I know investigating, you'll come across some spirits that are in the same location, and they don't even see each other because they're on different planes. So it's
Correct.
really interesting.
Well, this might blow a couple of your guys' minds. As my abilities have been growing, things have become aware to me, and speaking the mediumship side of me, where I can speak to spirit, is, when we pass away, it's obviously, this is knowledge, it's only our body that dies. Our spirit still lingers.
Right.
But I think we realize it, but we really haven't put two and two together, and like, oh yeah, like the light bulb come on, is when we die, our spirit's what lingers, but our spirit, our soul, contains our personality. Mm-hmm. So if we were a stubborn person in life, our spirit, our soul is going to be stubborn in death.
I am so glad you said that, because you know what? That ties in with one of my pet peeves with ghost hunting. Because people think that just because you walk into a location and you have an angry or a grumpy spirit, it's automatically demonic. Well, I'm sorry. Right. That's probably a person that was just as grumpy in real life as they are now. It doesn't make them demonic.
Right. And everybody seems to think that once people die and they cross over into heaven, or they don't go to hell or whatever, that if they go to hell, they're terrible, and if they don't go to hell, they're angels. Well, no. Just because you die don't mean you're an angel and that you're some sweet little old grandma. No. If you were a snot in life, you're a snot in death.
Exactly.
If you were nice in life, you were nice in death.
Yeah. How are you going to change just because you die? That doesn't make any sense.
Right. It's kind of like life imitating death in some ways, because you hear these people like, they don't get along with their dad, for example, and he's such an asshole, and he's a this and he's a that, but as soon as he dies, he's perfect.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying? So people seem to think, like, once they're dead, that their personality has changed into this miraculously wonderful soul.
Right. No.
No, they're still an asshole. If they were an asshole in life, they're an asshole in death.
Yeah, they're still around because they have unfinished business, because they were a jerk.
Right. And, and you got to understand the whole stubborn thing, too. If they choose not to cross over, they ain't crossing.
Yeah, that'll probably...
That traps a lot of spirits here, too. Like, they refuse to leave. They know they're dead, but they're like, no, I'm not, and I'm not leaving.
Yeah. And there's nothing about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people don't understand that, I think, when they ghost hunt. They just think, like you said, if it's a grumpy spirit, that they're a demon, and if they're a happy spirit, they're an angel. Well, it doesn't work that way.
Well, I try to tell people, you know what, if you woke me up at 3 o'clock in the morning shouting, is anybody here? I'd be like, shit, I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
That too. Hey, I'm
trying to visit my family. Leave me alone.
Exactly. I've got one last question in the chat room, and it is from, we call him Puff Daddy, from one of our Crew for Kids teams over at Vortex Paranormal. The question is, I've been having some jacked up dreams, and I'm curious if it's a family member trying to tell me something or someone something else. That's kind of interesting.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of baffling me in some ways. If it's a message from a dead family member or friend, if it's in your dream, if it's a dead family member or friend coming to you in your dream, they obviously have a message. It's hard for me to decipher who the message is for, without a little bit more detail about the dream, which I never want clients to give me detail because I don't want you to say or other people say.
It sounds like there's more than one, so it could be that it's several different messages, and it may be about one person or not. Kimmy says she thinks it's about a friend. Now, it could be, something's trying to get a message through to you in a ton of different ways. Maybe you didn't get it the first time, so they're trying it a second way. I think, like you touched on it a while ago, Stacey, if it is a family member, you're going to see it as a family member in your dream.
Right. And the spirit will come to you in many different ways. Whatever is going to clue you into what their message is. So, for example, when my grandmother would come to me in my dreams, she would come to me as she was before she died, so I would know immediately it was her.
Right.
Now, if she was trying to get a message to her sister or her brother, she may show herself as 12 or 13, because then they'll know that that's their sister as a child.
Right, make that connection.
Right. So whatever for you makes the connection of who it is or what the message is. Like I said earlier, too, a lot of times the message will be delivered in facial expression, body language, different things like that. But I think you are right in the fact that it is for more than one person, and I feel like they are giving different parts of the message each time. What I would suggest to us, Daddy, is that what he needs to do is to write down his dream and start kind of piecing it together.
Well,
because what it's going to come out to be is like a story.
Well, and he just made the comment, it was almost like a black mass, and he felt like he was choking. That's a little different.
Does he do ghost hunting?
Yep.
Okay. His spirit guide, his dead grandmother, whomever it is that's coming to him, may be trying to tell him he's brought something with him. From one of those investigations.
Yep. So, TJ, we need to talk about clearing you. We need to get with Crystal and talk about clearing you next time we're all together.
Yeah. And you should always do that before you get in your vehicle and leave an investigation, and definitely do it again before you walk in your home.
Yeah, and that's, a lot of times, well, anybody that's been with me knows we do an opening prayer and a closing prayer, and we tell the spirits very firmly they're not allowed to follow us home. The one time that I forgot to do that, I got my troublemaker Adolphus that followed me home, and I don't have any problems with him. And he knows I have no problem pulling off the stage and banishing him when he becomes a more than a troublemaker. But it is something that, a lot of people think we're crazy, but the one time that I didn't do it, I was at Hotel Adolphus, and I brought home my troublemaker, and thank God he hasn't been a pain in the butt or anything that we needed to worry about, but it's very...
Oh, I brought home a prisoner from Mansfield Prison a couple years ago.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he kicked back of my feet all the way home because it was so late when we left, and I forgot to do the prayer before we got in the car.
So,
we had a come to God meeting on the way back as he was kicking my chair, and when I pulled in my driveway, I'm like, you can stand in my driveway, you can stand on my porch, but you're not coming in my house. Yeah. And he paced back and forth on my porch till I left to go back the next day, and I told him he could get his ass back in the car, and he's going back to the prison where he belongs.
Exactly. And get there.
And he did. He went.
It's just amazing. All right, there was one more question I saw that I thought was a pretty cool question. They wanted to know... They had a hunch about having spirit guides, and the question was, would she be able to know about spirit guides? And my question was, like, who yours are, and the response was, yeah, I have a hunch, but not really sure. And this is coming from Brotherhood, who's with Apocalyptic Paranormal.
Okay. So he's asking if he would be able to know who his spirit guides are.
Yeah, or if you sense that he's got any spirit guides.
We all have a spirit guide. Spirit guides are God-given when we're born. And what a spirit guide is an angel that has never lived or walked the earth. In my experience, those spirit guides will tend to take on your name, your personality, your look. As you go through your life, as your friends and family and people important to you, people that feel like protectors to you pass away, they will come to your side as well and kind of guide you and lead you and be there for you. In some ways, I feel like my grandmother is a stronger spirit guide to me than my God-given one at times, and I don't know if that's because I choose to listen to her and acknowledge her more.
She's a grandmother.
Well, she's like me. She's very to the point. She don't play, But there are times that she gets scared and she leaves because of the things that will surround me because of, the professional hazards.
Yeah.
And there was something that was in my home after Psychic Kids, and she hightailed it out of here, and I didn't see her for months. Because she was scared of what was here until I got rid of it. And so in those times, I really lean on my God-given spirit guide. So he should, like we talked before, he should feel his spirit guide.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, he can see them, I guess. I can't see them.
Yeah, see, I feel and I hear mine. Like, I can sense mine. I can literally sense when they've walked in the room. Now, I can't see them, but I can sense that something has joined me.
Right. Yeah, I always feel it.
And
the thing is with your spirit guide, you won't have a negative feeling about it.
It's more like a comforting feeling.
Like a welcome home, a warmth feeling.
Yeah, it's kind of like you know that you're not alone type thing.
Right, yeah.
So they're saying the name I keep getting over and over in investigations is someone I've never known. Never asked if they are. Just keep hearing the name over and over. First got the name in a dream. So it could be.
So they don't know anybody by this name?
Mm-mm. Someone I've never known. Never asked if they are. Just keep hearing the name over and over. First got the name in a dream. And never heard the name before. That's almost like somebody else trying to pass through a message more than it is a spirit guide, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I don't think that... It could be a spirit guide in the fact that it's projecting something into the future, that they're going to meet somebody by this name, or something about this person with this name is going to be significant in their life.
Well, it's weird you say that because he just typed it came as a phone call in a dream.
Mm-hmm. See, that's for me, that's kind of what happened to me my whole life. It was just the weirdest things used to happen to me. Like, I would be doing dishes and names and words would just pop in my head out of the clear blue. And it still happens from time to time.
See, I get that when I'm investigating, but I don't ever think of it as being, and it could be my guide telling me that, but, I'll get a name and I'll look at Crystal and she'll look at me and we both say the same name together. We're like, okay, march on.
See, and it's not only for investigations. It's been like while sweeping, while doing the dishes, while washing the car. They just come. And it's not just names, it's words. And I've always had the ability, like I said, I was an empath my entire life, is when I would meet people, I would know, it was almost like I felt like I knew them forever. I could tell you when I met them if they were going to be a significant, important part of my life.
Isn't that weird?
It's very odd. I thought I was just weird because that's what my mom told me. But there was a guy I went to school with. He graduated a year before I did, and he contacted me a couple weeks ago, and come to find out, he's a psychic.
Oh, my goodness.
And nobody at school that we went to school with knew that. But
Did he know
I remember him in high school and junior high. He always stood out to me.
Wow.
And I added him on Facebook about a year ago, and he denied my ad, and I'm like, hey, whatever. I mean, we weren't buddies. We rode the same bus. We knew of each other. We kind of picked at each other and stuff, like kids do. But he always just stood out to me. And I remember weird things like what his soap smelled like when he would get on the bus in the morning. Weird stuff. And I'm not really a stalker or crazy or anything like that. Just saying.
No, but it's weird because your senses got heightened.
Yeah, and it was really strange. So about a month ago when he messaged me and said, by the way, I found out that you're a psychic. Is that true? And I said, yeah. He goes, well, I am too. And I'm like, ding, 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 ding. That finally, that's the connection. That's why he stood out to me. It goes back to that, like with Amy with the Indigo Child connection. That's what it was with him. And, we talk often. We haven't talked since before I went to the beach. I need to message him, but we were talking almost every day up until I went to the beach a couple weeks ago. And it's just, to me, it's just crazy. The weird...
yeah, that's a weird connection.
It's just so weird. It's like, and when I met my ex-husband, I knew immediately when I met him, and people say, like, when you meet your spouse or your boyfriend or what, you kind of always know that he's going to be... This is kind of a different thing. Like, he moved here from California and the first moment I seen him, I'm like, I just knew. And it wasn't that I was attracted to him by no means, because I wasn't. Not at that point. But it's like, I just knew that he would be an important part of my life, and the people from school that are in my life now, I knew then would be in my life now.
Wow.
That I wasn't even friends with then.
That's just
Two totally different socioeconomic groups even. And that are my strongest and best friends now.
But you know what, to me, that's just a natural type thing. There's a reason God put people in your life. There's a reason God puts that path the way he puts it. And that's just one of them. That's weird.
Yeah.
All right, so Amy in the chat room, Amy Lynn, had a question. She's asked me twice, and I know, Amy, you're not being impatient. We're just trying to get point to point here. But she has a good question, and I'm kind of curious about the answer. She wants to know if a spirit guide... Okay, you guys, quit typing while I'm trying to read.
Amy's my indigo child I keep talking about.
She wants to know if a spirit guide and a totem are the same thing.
Oh, gosh. Why does she always have to stump me like that? A spirit guide and a totem. To me...
Explain what a totem is. For, some of us that don't really deal with the terminology, kind of define what a totem is, and then maybe we can all connect to you.
Are you asking her?
No, I'm asking you. Kind of what do you see as a totem?
Her family is Indian, so I am assuming she's meaning American Indian.
Totem is your animal spirit. Thank you, Amy.
Okay. I don't know. I don't travel in that arena a lot.
Well, you know what? Is it possible to have an animal spirit and a regular spirit guide? I mean, you're not limited on how many guides you can have.
No, you're not. And I know, like, I have family that are American Indian, and I know that they believe in that whole earth, wind, tree thing, and a lot of them believe in the spirit of the animal, like the spirit of the wolf and what have you. I suppose it can be.
Well, and Kimmy's saying an animal spirit shows you the way of your life. And then Amy's saying fire, earth, wind, water. Now, the American Indians, a lot of their beliefs do circle around those four basics: fire, earth, wind, and water. So it makes me wonder how much more the animal spirits tie into that as well, because it's more of a natural world at that point.
Correct. And what also crosses my mind in this as well is the whole thing of reincarnation.
Right.
I kind of teeter back and forth on that. I'm not sure 100% how I feel about it. But, if your spirit guide was reborn as a human or vice versa, yeah, I suppose it could be reborn as an animal. I don't know. She always baffles me. She's always a couple steps ahead of me in this deep thinking thing sometimes.
Well, but you know what? It's a good question, and it makes me. I'm going to make a note because I want to actually get somebody on the show that is of American Indian background and can kind of give us some more input. Because it's funny that Amy brought that up, because here in the last couple of weeks, there's been a couple of investigations and a couple of cases that have come across my path that have been of an American Indian background, and I really don't know enough about it. So I think it would be great to have somebody on to kind of talk to us about it and tell us a little bit more about it.
My friend from high school lived on an Indian reservation for years. He could probably help you with that. Or Pete Buffalo Head. Do you know him?
No.
Okay. They're on my Facebook page.
Okay.
I'll hook you up with my friend from high school. Maybe I'll talk to him and see if he would like to come on. But Pete, I'm sure, would come on. I met him through all of the radio shows and things. But I was saying earlier, and I don't know if you heard me, Amy Lynn is my indigo child that I'm connected with.
See, and indigo children, and that's a whole nother topic. If you guys don't know what indigo children are, the first time I heard the topic, I was like, what is that? And I started researching. Man, you know what? I never realized what an indigo child really was.
Yeah. And how complex it really is.
Absolutely. And it makes you wonder, how does this happen? And again, it goes back to the scientific end of things. What part of your brain are they typing into that we're not? And Amy's saying, oh my God, Amy, Most ADHD children are indigo. That would explain all 3 of my kids.
Yeah, mine too.
Enough said. Enough said. Well, we're getting to be about 10 after the hour. We've kind of gone a little bit longer. You know, this was great. This was fun. We definitely will have to do this one again. You guys, anybody that had their question answered tonight, whether you called in or you were in the chat room, if you'll get a hold of Stacey, I think, Stacey, we were going to run a special for them, especially, weren't we?
Yes, I think we were.
Yep. So you guys get a hold of Stacey, message her, and she'll tell you what your deal is. And then I also mentioned to Brotherhead that he might want to connect with you offline and try to get a reading and kind of figure out what's going on with the dreams in the name.
That sounds like a good idea. We can definitely do that.
That way you can
And also all my former clients that have called in and friends that have called in, I have a special deal for you guys, too, that if you would like to schedule a reading, I can give you a discount on that as well.
So you guys just mentioned that you had talked to her on the show. We'll know from the names of the people that we talked to tonight who's who to be able to take care of you guys. So, and then definitely when Stacey's in Dallas, we're going to have some fun.
Oh, heck yeah, we are.
Fun. Well, thanks for being on the show again. We're going to kind of close up here with a couple of things that just popped up while we've been sitting here talking. You know, you guys know that I'm very, very much into being a prayer warrior and keeping people on the prayer list. So I wanted to kind of give a shout out for you guys to keep 3 people in mind tonight. One of them is Shonda, who is one of our friends that is a paranormal investigator, and she is awesome. We had a lot of fun with her at the Unity Fest, but she had her baby boy early. He was 1 pound, 3 ounces, 11 inches long, and was 23 weeks and 2 days old. He's already having to be given blood transfusion and put on a breather. So we want to keep her in our prayers tonight and keep Cohen in our prayers tonight as well. Pray that baby makes it through and we get a lot of strength behind him, because I know she was really, really excited about having that baby, and this has just been something that's kind of been a shock to them. So we want to make sure we keep them in our prayers. Melissa's son also is having some heart issues. So Melissa, we want to keep your son in our prayers tonight as well. And then Maggie, we also want to keep your husband in our prayers tonight as well. So we've got 3 people that we're adding onto our prayer list tonight. And, you know, you guys, I'll try to keep up with Shonda and make sure we stay up on what's going on with her, because we really want to keep an eye on that baby there. So want to thank you, Stacey, for being on the show. Want to thank our sponsors. So, Eric, if you're ready, we'll start running through them. Want to thank Bravo Photography. You guys get over and pester Martin, get him out. He needs to do some photography work because I want to see some new stuff. Want to thank First Cash Pawn. Again, we'll be getting that thermal out soon enough, but not soon enough. Want to thank Paranologies, Jeremy at Paranologies. You guys, he's going to be out at our event in September. Come out and take a look at the new stuff. Want to give a shout out to Body by Vi. You guys, if you're trying to lose some weight, that's a good shake to try. Get a hold to me and I'll give you some info on that. And then last but not least, we want to give a big shout out to Scott Frederick. I'm still waiting for Scott to get settled from his move and post some new pictures, but if you guys are keeping up with the page on Friday, every single photograph that you see on our Friday, our TGIF, our Thank Ghost It's Friday graphic, is one of Scott's pictures, and it's a location he's been to, so we want to give a big shout out to him as well. So I'm not sure who's going to be on the show next week. I think we're going to make it a surprise on purpose, so you guys tune in. We'll kind of give you a teaser and let you know who's going to be that person come this weekend, but right now it's going to be a big surprise. So you guys have a great weekend. We'll catch up with you next week, and thanks again, Stacey, for the readings tonight with everybody and the fun. I can't wait for you to get into Dallas.
Well, thank you for having me again.
Not a problem. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Brings him out and show it to us, but he will be doing a demonstration for us, so you guys can check that out as well. I've got in the mail finally a couple of books autographed by some authors for our lotto. We've got Michael Graves coming out, and he's actually personally going to bring his books, so we'll get to see him and talk to him a little bit. And I'm working on a couple other little surprises for you guys, too, that we'll have. So we're going to have a lot of fun with this. You guys come out. It's for a great cause for kids, and we'd love to see you out there. We've got a limited amount of space, so get your tickets now. Also want to remind you guys to hook up with Texas Ghostly Gatherings on Meetup. They are actually at Pinhurst this week. They're actually going to be investigating there tomorrow night, so I can't wait to hear Annette's feedback on that location. And then tonight, as I mentioned, we are going to be doing some readings with Stacey. Normally, we do them in the chat room, so you guys in the chat room, if you guys have questions, you can still ask them there. But if you want to actually talk to Stacey because you have a question that may be a little more detailed, you can call in, and the number is going to be at the bottom of the screen. But if you want to jot it down, it's going to be 615-692-1262 for you guys to call in. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Stacey. Stacey, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
We're good. I'm glad to have you back on the show. It wasn't too long ago we were having some fun on here, huh?
Oh, my gosh. Not too long ago at all.
You know, I think we spent that night talking more about background and how to meditate and how to ground yourself. And it's funny because you and I talked that night, and I told you I wasn't so confident in my abilities, and then I've been working on it. And then we did my reading a couple of nights ago, and you confirmed some stuff that I kind of had a sense for. So it was kind of good to know that I've been working on mine, and it's kind of coming forward, and it's good to work with you on it to kind of get that balance and get that bounce off as well.
Absolutely. I was glad to hear that you're actually tuning into and got the same things that I got. That was really cool.
It's almost scary.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It is very, very scary. Well, you guys in the chat room, I see, Selena's in the chat room. Selena was in the chat room with us last time, too, and she's already starting it off with, what does my future hold? Selena, you're going to have to be a little more specific. I think we're going to have a lot of this tonight. But you guys, if y'all have questions, fire them out there. I know Stacey had put out for some of her past clients. If you guys have had a reading, call in and let us know how that went, too. And I'm going to tell you guys, we did our reading the other night between Stacey and I, and it just never ceases to amaze me how right on she is about things. Things that I hadn't even told her yet that I was getting ready to tell her, she was already picking up on it and going after. And I think that's awesome. And for me to get some validation on some stuff that I didn't even tell you about I'd sensed until after you picked it up, that was just, for me, unbelievable. I think it's totally opened up my confidence a little bit more.
Awesome. Well, that's what the point is. My abilities are getting so different and so much stronger. Since even the last time we spoke. So, not the other night, but the last show we did.
Yeah. And you've got a lot going on, too, but we can't talk about a lot of that.
Oh, it's been cray-cray. My son hates when I say that. He's like, Mom, you're 42. You can't say cray-cray. So I say it just to irritate him.
We can say cray-cray. There's no problem with that.
Oh, I sure can.
So, Selena's being funny now. She's saying that she's got her love life covered. She wants to know about her career. She's happily married and in love, but her career not so sure now. All right, Selena, I see where you're going. Are we talking about the para career, or are we talking about the other career? I'm waiting.
I think she's talking about her para career.
I think she is too, but she's not. Come on, type faster, Selena. Her para career. There we go.
See? We were all zoomed in. I think she's really going to expand on what she's already doing. I think that I feel like she's moving in the right direction, but I feel like her name is not out there as much as she would like it to be, and I think that's going to really change for her. I think what I feel is like she's letting some emotional and personal issues hold her back from fully experiencing what God has to offer her in the future with her para career. And when she puts those issues to rest or finally comes to resolve with them, everything else will fall into place.
Well, and it's funny you say that because she and I had a conversation the other day. I was kind of picking up on the same thing. And I even told her, I said, you know what, she is going to go far. Once, I think, Selena, I think you're kind of, I think you are your holdback right now. I think you need to just kind of take a deep breath and go.
She does. Yeah, she does.
And she's saying now, wow, now that's cray-cray.
Oh, I've started a new trend. Now if I could just get Mid-Ohio Medium shirts on everybody, we would be rocking out.
Heck yeah, we got to start pushing that more. All right, Green IZ, Green Eyes, has a question. They say, hello to Stacey. I'm debating whether or not to retire. Any thoughts about that? Would it be good to do so now, or should I wait longer? Thank you.
Just two questions to kind of help me with my empathic feeling on it. What do they do now, and how old are they now?
All right, Green Eyes, what are you doing now, and how old are you? Let's give Stacey a little more information on you. Selena's an easy one because we know Parrot Bud.
Yeah. I kind of have a feeling of what it is, but
we'll just see what we get here. Early 60s, and they write procedures.
I don't feel like that. I don't feel like they are going to retire just yet. I feel like they're second guessing retiring, so they're going to hold out a little bit longer. I feel like it's kind of it's a multifold issue. They're kind of leery about the loss of that money, that steady income, but they're also kind of worried about that loss of a daily routine. So I think they're going to hold out a little bit longer. I would say probably 2 or 3 more years before they retire.
Kind of keep them busy a little bit then.
Yeah. I think the empathic feeling I'm getting from them is that they're one of those people like you and I that they have to be busy all the time. And I think that would be really...
Yep.
I think that would be really a downturn for them. Can you imagine either one of us retiring right now? We'd be cray-cray.
No. That would be totally cray-cray, man. Totally cray-cray. I could see retiring from my full-time job. Hello, everybody, and welcome to DNS Live. It's Wednesday night. We have another fun guest tonight, so we're going to have some fun on the show. We're actually going to do call-in tonight for the first time, so you guys will get to experience that. But let's get to a couple announcements at the top of the hour like we normally do. We did finally release the location for our fundraiser, our Kids fundraiser, the charity dinner and ghost hunt coming up in September. We are going to be in Burleson at a restaurant called The Porch. There's been some reported activity there. It's never been officially and formally investigated, so we'll be the first ones going in there to do that on Friday night and Saturday night. So you guys get your tickets. The link is up on the DNS page for the Eventbrite, or you can go on Eventbrite and look for DFW Dinner and Ghost Hunt. It's $65 if you want to do one night. If you want to come out both nights, it's $110. We're also adding a ghost walk before the dinner. It will be a buffet-style dinner. So we're adding a ghost walk to that night. We're also going to have a lotto and auction going on that night. Jeremy with Paranologies is going to be out there. He's starting to kind of, those of us that are focus groups for Paranologies have seen some of the new equipment's coming out, and it's pretty badass. So we're still trying to twist his arm to